Hello, everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about how to batch import metadata from CSV into your DSpace direct repository. Remember, this is only regarding importing metadata. If you want to import entire items, you'll want to review our video on importing using the Simple Archive format, or SAF, to bring in both metadata and their associated files. Please remember that in order to batch import metadata, you must have full client-side administrator or repository manager privileges. Also remember this functionality only works for importing items, not for importing metadata about communities or collections. We would suggest starting with exporting metadata from other items in the collection that you wish to import into, or exporting metadata from another collection that has all the metadata fields used that you wish to use in this collection. If you are planning to use this operation to create new items, or if you are wanting to update existing metadata. This will give you a CSV that you can then use to format your desired metadata import and ensure better success in uploading your new metadata. You can watch our video on batch exporting metadata to learn more about that process. Some tips about the import CSV file you're creating for your new metadata, or for any metadata that you are editing. You need to add a plus sign to the first or ID column so your DSpace direct repository knows when you're adding new items to a collection. Make sure you have the correct handle in the second or collection column so the system knows to which collection this item metadata is being added. You can use two pipe characters together to chain together multiple values for a single field, such as multiple authors. If you're working in Microsoft Excel or on another spreadsheet platform, you may need to format date columns to be text so that the format you wish your dates to be uploaded in, such as if you want YYYY-MM-DD, so that those items remain correct and are not changed by the application's desire to be helpful. Review your metadata carefully in your CSV before going back to DSpace Direct to import. The system will not necessarily validate that you have system-required fields, like title, date of issue, or type, when batch importing in this manner. And remember that type has been added as a required field as of version 8. When ready to import your metadata, you will navigate to your DSpace Direct repository, log in, and click on the Admin sidebar menu and select Import Metadata. Then you will either click and drag or browse for the CSV of metadata you wish to import. Note that you have the option to select Validate Only, which means your repository will not actually upload your data, just verify whether or not the upload process will work. This can be very helpful as a first step to see what errors you might encounter, as well as to make sure any changes you might have made to existing item metadata will be captured by the system. For this demonstration, I am going to go ahead and uncheck the Validate Only box. You'll be taken to a background job or curation task processing screen, which will show you the activity happening. If all goes well, the status will change from running to completed without any error messages. Likely, the pop-up message will simply state your process is running in green. All error messages in this process will be with the status and log process output on the screen itself. Once the process is completed, you will see two items under Output Files, a log file and a CSV file. You'll also see how long the process took to complete, and you'll have the option to create a similar process or to delete this process at the bottom of the screen. Clicking on the log and CSV files will allow you to download one or both of those items, depending on your needs and wishes. The CSV file will just be another copy of the metadata that you imported, but the log might be useful if you encountered any errors in your upload process. Clicking on the Retrieve Process Output button will give you the same log information that you'll see in the log download. Instead of clicking on Create Similar Process from this screen, we would recommend, if you're trying to upload metadata from multiple collections and/or communities, going back to the admin sidebar and importing from there again, as that screen is generally more user-friendly than the Processes page that you would be taken to if you select Create Similar Process. Again, it's worth noting that the validation process used by the DSpace interface is fairly limited in what it will actually validate on. For example, even though titles, dates of issue, and types are required when creating new items in the interface, they will upload without that metadata via the batch import process. Untitled items will display as untitled, even though no metadata has been added to that effect. Common errors that you might get during a batch import process include something regarding an invalid UUID string. This indicates you likely forgot to put the plus sign in the ID or first column if you're trying to add new items, or there's some other text string there that does not validate. You might also get an error message about the collections handle. As noted earlier, you cannot use this batch import process to create collections, so make sure the handle matches the collection to which you're adding items. If you ever have questions about anything in your DSpace Direct repository, please send us a help desk ticket by simply emailing dspacedirect@lyrasis.org. Thank you.